Man, it's been so long since I made a real video, I don't know how to quite start it. Welcome back, or hello, my name's Theon. You might be new here, so yeah. If you're not, that's great. You want to talk about Digital Circus? I know I do. Let's talk about conjuring, conjuring. Anytime that they've conjured, and they have or haven't noticed.
Naturally, he has control over everything. But so do we. We all technically have the ability to conjure, just like Cain.
I've gone through all 8 episodes. Obviously, we don't have episode 9 yet by the time of this video's release. I feel like this is gonna be right about a lot of things when the movie comes out. We'll see. Let's get into it. Alright, obviously episode 1 starts out. Pomni shows up. She doesn't know what's happening. Boom, there's a door. It disappears. Cain has never been asked how to leave, I think. Like, nobody's directly asked him, how do I leave? Let alone immediately after they first showed up, so I just wanted to include that. Next, we have Pomni, for the second time, seeing the exit door. This is outside the grounds. Asks what it is. Gets whisked away real quickly. Before Cain talks about the digital hallucinations, Jax asks about the, what exit door? We've all would have left by now. And then Zubul starts to choke him, right? Because he's scratching his back with Zubul's arm. I think that Zubul's movement of Zubul's body, able to pick up a different body part, put it on, that is conjuring. Manipulating reality around you as you see it. Manifesting. The movie The Secret. Stuff like that. That's what it all is. That's how Kinger eats. He doesn't have a mouth. He decides. He conjures the bite. That's how Zubul moves their body parts. Also, if you look really closely, Jax does not have a tail at the start of this. I thought maybe his tail fell off when he was choked by Zubul, but there is no tail. Okay, moving on. And now Cain is really insistent about it being digital hallucinations. I always wondered why he seemed so impatient and quick to change the subject. But it wasn't digital hallucinations at all. He just didn't want the players to become aware that anybody can conjure or manipulate the digital circus, just like he can. Next, I think Jax conjures keys without even realizing it. He thinks this is all just a cartoon. So, why wouldn't he be able to just do things, and he doesn't question why it happens, it just does. But that's why he has so many keys. That's why he can do the things he does and doesn't take it seriously. Oh my god, Ragatha is just so done with him when he says,
"Don't worry, dollface."
Look at her. She is so over him. Next. This is where I really got the whole idea for this video. It's gonna sound silly, but Jax picks up his bowling ball from Kaufmo's room. He dips out with it. He shows up. He is not holding a bowling ball. There's no bowling ball on his back. In his pockets, you can't see any kind of bowling ball. Where did the bowling ball go? Where did it come from? After they slide down, there's a bunch of bowling pins. The spare pops up. Does Jax conjure himself grabbing it and breaking it? Or is that just part of the circus and he was actually able to interact with it? Did he conjure his ability to interact with it? We don't know. There's no way to know some of these things. And that's okay. Next, back to Zubul's body parts moving, Kinger being able to eat without a mouth. Kinger places his hands on Zubul's head to retrieve them from the gloinks. And his hands keep bouncing away. Because he forgot. He didn't intend to retrieve Zubul's head. He intended to grab Zubul's head. And he hasn't fully adjusted to the darkness yet. So in my running theory, he didn't finalize his command to also retrieve. And that's why after Zubul's head gets spat out by the Gloink Queen, Kinger's hands go directly back to his body from wherever that was spat out from. That's the only reason. That's how they move. They decide. You decide to move your hand. He decides to move his. He forgot to move part of his hands. He didn't manifest. He didn't conjure his hands properly. Anyways. Next, we've got Pomni showing up for the first time going, whoa, it's an exit door. You gotta get out of here. And that's it for episode 1. There's no more conjuring in episode 1. Next, episode 2, Candy Kingdom, Carrier Chaos, Candy Kingdom. Yeah. Okay, so first bit of conjuring doesn't really start, I think, until Jax says, I call shotgun. He's gonna walk over, shoot him repeatedly until they're unrecognizable. Where did he get the shotgun? Did he conjure that shotgun? I don't really think so, because it's in theme with the rest of the war rig being all candy themed. right? Okay, follow me here. Okay, so he didn't conjure it because it is candy themed. Keep that in mind. We're gonna get back to that. Put a pin in it. Next, Kinger wants to save Pomni. What does he do? He pops out of the semi-truck with a... What is this thing called? The lifesaver ring. Floaty device thing. Wow, just total blank on that. He pops out wanting to save her, so where did he get that? That's not candy themed. That is not a peppermint thing. Now, back to Jax. Is this candy themed? Dear viewer, I ask you, is that bazooka themed like candy? No. Jax conjured it, along with all of the knives in the back. Those aren't candy themed knives. Those were conjured by Jax. Next, I call this conjuring because everybody else is bouncing around all crazy and Jax just decides, I'm keeping my head in place and looking straight forward. He's manifesting what he wants. He doesn't even know how or why. Now, here's my next theory. Kinger wants to be an anchor for Pomni. Where did he get the anchor? It's not candy themed. He conjured the anchor. Also, it was attached to the rest of the truck anyways, so that didn't help. And then, as they're falling off of the side of the cliff, Jax is standing on the roof. He was just leaning out of the roof, but he climbed up top to the roof to stand there. Next, where did he get this key out of his back? Is there a little pocket? Hang on, let me check. Nope, no pocket there. No keys in this Jax hoodie. He can manifest keys. He stole it out of Ragatha's pocket because he decided to have it. He manifested it. He conjured the key. He conjured the key. How is it still spinning? How is it spinning so long directly on top of his finger like a video game item, ready to be collected? Because he's conjuring it. Next is Pomni trying to figure out how to get out. Well, the only way she knows how is to conjure the collision physics being wrong and smacking the truck all the way up. This is my video. That's a fact. I say it's a fact until Gooseworks says otherwise. So, because that happened to her earlier in the morning when she woke up, this is how she knew it would happen. That's how it worked. She conjured it. That's reality for her now. And that's the end of episode 2. Next, for episode 3, very short. There is one instance of conjuring. I am almost entirely certain this is the only instance of conjuring. When Pomni walks up.
Please don't come alive.
Okay, I won't.
She wasn't too sure about herself when she said that. She really didn't want it, but she knew it was going to. And that's why he says,
Okay, I won't.
He did, but he didn't. It was still calm and collected and normal, and it didn't scare Pomni. But his programming from Kane made him come to life anyways, because Pomni didn't override it enough with her conjuring. And that's the only instance of conjuring in episode 3 that I could find. Now, dear viewer, if you would please pay very, very close attention. Jax didn't mean to do it. He's looking up. He didn't mean to hit her. He was looking up. He thought the ball was going to go up. Kane did that. That was Kane's fault, I think. Anyways, let's keep going, I guess. Episode 4, Instances of Conjuring. First, this has to be conjuring. How did Zubul have a mask that is the exact shape as Gangle's masks, unless Zubul conjured the mask for Gangle? A happy, unbreakable mask for Gangle. Zubul conjured it. That's how. There's no other way. Kane isn't going to do that for them. The next time somebody conjures happens to be when Gangle tells Jax that he needs some more... So, how did Gangle make all of that happen in such a short amount of time? Because Gangle conjured all of the video. There's clearly a difference in time experience between the characters, because as Zubul is dropped, there's a 19-second difference between when Zubul drops and then actually falls into the Spudsies restaurant. By that time, everybody's already wearing their outfits. They're like doing stuff a little more acclimated to the place. Clearly, there's a time difference between what actually happens to each individual character as Kane or whoever sees fit. That's why Gangle was able to make the whole training thing so quickly.
When did you make this?
It was during that time Gangle went more... That's when Gangle was conjuring it all. And with that, nobody else seems to really conjure during episode 4. Episode 5, this is going to be a bit controversial maybe. Anytime someone votes, Kane has allowed them the idea that they can now vote to change their realities and conjure. When in truth, They could do it the whole time. That's why when they vote to change Jax into a vegan, Jax tries to get a vote for Zubul turned into a slug, and they all vote for Jax to wear a maid outfit. These are all instances of the players conjuring.
Kane, what are we doing right now?
We're intermissioning!
Next, in episode 6, they all get guns. This is where the whole initial idea of people being able to conjure in the digital circus comes from, is obviously from Kinger going, hey, oh, here's a butterfly. Especially because that music's going on, you're like, whoa, what's happening here?
What did you just do? What?
And Ragatha has the same reaction we all did, like, what? Next, we have Pomni not being able to properly conjure her self-confidence behind her bullets, because she can't even knock over a tin can with a real gun. So, but then, Jax explains a few more things to her, and she's able to knock the can over. And Jax does it with such overflowing confidence, it just, really goes to show that he doesn't think this is real, it's a cartoon, and he can do whatever because of that. And he is like half right in a sense, but he doesn't even know that that is why he's able to do conjuring like he does. Ragatha slides around the corner. She says, I need a gun, I need a gun. This gun is not floating as Gangle found the Tommy gun in that one little bit. Neither did Kinger in that one. No, I'm starting to think about it, actually. Did Kinger manifest his Ruger 57? Anyways, she manifests a gun, maybe. It doesn't actually shoot a bullet. She doesn't want to shoot Jax. She doesn't want to hurt people. She doesn't want to hurt people. That's why she manifested a gun that can't hurt people. She didn't want a gun. She wanted the idea of what a gun can do. Maybe I'm reaching for straws here. And then next, she freaks out because Jax is about to shoot her, and she says, no, 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 plugs her finger in there, and it somehow backfires just like it does in cartoons. Jax hurt himself. She didn't hurt him. She conjured that gun backfiring properly. That's why they're like, oh, I didn't actually think that would work. Well, that's because they're applying their ability to conjure in that instance. Next, where did Kinger get the lighter? Where did he get the lighter? How did he do the whole super ricochet move that actually ended up killing him? That's because he manifested it. I think he was staring at the lighter a little too long, and it made him go crazy, and he forgot that he needs to shoot them, and he just instead shot the gun and didn't realize, oh, it's going to ricochet, and it could hit me. I don't. And then Pomni, also just absolutely full of confidence now, doesn't even care. It could have landed on the wrong chamber, but it didn't because she manifested it. How did that one bullet bounce all the way around and get all of Zubul's guns and then shoot Zubul in the back? Because she conjured this reality. Conjuring, it doesn't mean they just like create something out of nothing. They're manipulating their existence around them. That's it for episode 6. Episode 7, the beach episode, I think there's basically 2. Kind of. It's not like one of them was conjured in the episode. One of them's a little debatable too. Did Jax conjure Ribbit's hands? Or was he just actually experiencing digital hallucinations in some sense because he's close to abstraction? It's really hard to say. Next, we have all the keys. He doesn't know what they go to. These are keys he's obviously conjured before in the past, lost track of why he even wanted them, I'm sure. Just like, oh, I could really want to get in there. There's a key in his pocket. He doesn't know what it goes to. He keeps going about his day, finds it later. Where did this key come from? I don't know. I don't care because it's not real. That's how Jax operates. And that is it for episode 7. Episode 8, something like that is what the title is. This might upset a lot of people. I think Pomni conjured the bucket to put on Kinger's head because she wanted answers as to what's going on. What should we do next? The bucket. She remembered the bucket makes him sane in some sense. It makes him it puts him in darkness, and it kind of makes him sane. And again, Jax is freaking out. He doesn't think any of this is actually real. That's why he's coming to terms with it. Holy crap, these are real people. I'm a real person. This is real. And that's why I think the movie is going to be really intense, because he's realizing he is real, and he can manipulate his reality. So episode 9 is going to be a lot about Jax and him trying to take over the circus. And I don't know. Moving on.
Just a simple computer interface would work.
I think I know exactly where to get one.
Where could you possibly find one of those things, Pomni? Oh, right, she's gonna go manifest the exit door. Tells them, make sure nobody leaves, blah, 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 or else I'll shoot everybody in the room. Something like that. I was paying attention, totally. Here's my next question. Did this barrel respawn? Did Kane not clean up the old assets and left the other one toppled over? Why would he do that? I think Pomni might have conjured the barrel because it was a familiar area to her and she's like, you know, getting in the right headspace, and that's why the next scene she closed her eyes and stuff. Oh, look, there's the exit door again, just as she planned to get the terminal. He hands it off to Kinger, asks him if he needs help with power because obviously, you know, there's no plugins in a pillow fortress.
Nah, I can use my imagination for that.
You got this?
And wouldn't you know it,
think
he is
so.
conjuring electricity, and he's conjuring the entire code of the entire digital Circus operating system into a computer that Pomni technically conjured in some sense, but Kane conjured it out of code, and he has Kinger has the entire operating system code memorized so he can manipulate it and delete things, and it actually applies because he's conjuring. Oh god. And wouldn't you know it, when you start messing around with vibe coding, you're gonna have some unintended consequences.
Wait.
This is the definition of vibe coding as far as I'm concerned, all the conjuring of the code into another code, blah blah blah. Yeah. Things are gonna happen that you don't intend to happen. And with that, that's the entirety of the Digital Circus episode 1 through 8. A lot of instances of conjuring, maybe some of it wasn't. It's my video. Sue me if I'm wrong, I don't care. If you made it this far, that's great, because there's another something else, I don't know. Do you think if the character award polls, like, went well, would Kane have not went crazy and everything would be fine? If he was happy, would it look like this? What do you think? Comment down below. Let me know, really. Yeah. Be sure to subscribe. I might make something more in the future. There's no telling. The only way to find out is if you subscribe, like literally. The algorithm is not pushing me around. I got another video idea I might do about, you know, every time Kane did something and didn't let you know, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I got my theater ticket. Episode 9's coming out. The movie is coming out. I'm probably gonna make another video about that after this is out, so okay, cool beans. My name's Theon. I don't know if I said that. Okay, thanks, bye!